It's really weird to me that this Megatron got resurrected before he killed Optimus Prime. I know it's just a nitpick, but it really feels like breaking the continuity to me.
You're so weak.
Hey guys, this is AwesomeJohn22 and I'm coming at you today with another review, another Leader Class Megatron, a better Leader Class Megatron. It may not have been the better movie, but Revenge of the Fallen definitely had the better toy line. And yes, I know, the Voyager class version of this character is more screen accurate, but there is just something about this thing. This thing. I mean, you've got Megatron's head down there, actually looking like it's a part of the vehicle. Unlike on the first movie Leader Class toy, you've got the giant cannon, you've got the big treads. This guy really looks like he could run somebody over or blow them apart. And because this was a jet tank in the movie, it does have the jets on the back, which are a little silly. But hey, there they are. And frankly, this mode, compared to the first movie Leader Class Vehicle mode, is just too much better for me to accurately describe how much better it is. It looks great, it's heavy, it is a big, bulky toy. And it really looks like you put another Leader Class next to this thing and it looks bigger than that other Leader Class. And it's a great, and I really wish I'd prepared one to show you guys here. I don't have one. Really wish I did. I'm going to fix that later in the size comparison section. But anyway, just a great looking toy. And yeah, it looks great in vehicle mode. You'll see though in a minute, it only looks good in robot mode, though good is better than okay. As we know, the last Megatron we reviewed was only okay. So without further ado, without further gushing, because I know no one likes to hear me just gush about something, we are going to go ahead and get into the transformation of this guy. And it is not nearly as difficult or as annoying as the transformation on Movie 1 Leader Class Megatron, I promise you that. First of all, we are going to come here, and we are going to pop up his cannon. Very simple. Next, we're going to come back here, and we are going to take this, and we are just going to separate it like so. You can see right there, there is a peg and a clip that hold this whole assembly in place. We're just going to loosen that up. And now, because it's going to come off anyway, we're going to pop his arm off. Yes, I know, that's turning him into a parts former, but it is going to come off. There's no way to get around it. It pops off very easily. So I'm not even going to bother fighting it. Next up, we are going to come to the back here and unpeg this jet section. Now we are going to come to the front again and unpeg on each side these tread assemblies from where his arms will eventually peg into his body. And then come around to his back treads and pull these very tight tabs free. And that frees up his legs, which allows us to split the legs a bit, rotate these wheels down, and then fold these down, and then rotate them down and into place. And this guy has a lot of tight joints on him. A lot. And I really like it, I'm not gonna lie. Now we're gonna bring his knees up to form kind of thigh panels. We're gonna come here to the back of the figure again. Rotate these wheel assemblies around so that they better fit in these grooves. We're going to do this on both sides. you can see we're getting something here that really looks like legs at this point. Though they look like Michael Bay Decepticon legs, so you may or may not actually like them. Finally, to complete the leg transformation, we can fold these panels down to form toes, or you can leave them up. You can leave them up and give him tread feet. It's up to you. I like the toes a little bit better. Now moving on to the body itself. Adjusting my light so you can see it slightly better. We come around to the back and flip this arm around and then fold out his giant middle finger, because one of the greatest things about this Megatron is that he is giving a giant middle finger, I'd like to imagine, to Michael Bay for making Revenge of the Fallen so god-awful stupid. Come around here to the back, fold this little tab out of the way, and fold the jet assembly up onto his back. Now we're going to come around here to the front again. We're going to take, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you, because this is actually really cool, and it helps, it's part of what hides his face. We're going to take these and rotate them out of the way so we can fold these down, and then fold his head down into place. Because I was too lazy to transform it with the arm attached, we're going to come back here, we're going to fold this tab back a bit. That's going to allow us to plug this back in, fold it back, and then fold it around. And there we get a light up gimmick when we plug the arm in, and I'll show you that again. When we plug the arm in, it doesn't do it, even though it's supposed to. Hold on. There we go, big light up gimmick, and I'm actually going to turn my light off for a second here. I'm going to show you that one more time because it's actually really cool. Everything lights up, his chest, his eyes, and you wouldn't know there's LEDs there, and it's very cool. See what I mean? That is very cool. I like that a lot. A lot more than the silly gimmick on the movie 1 liter class. Now finally, we rotate his arm down into place, and yes, that will go off a few times. It is inevitable. And here we have Megatron in his robot mode. And it is a good looking robot mode. It's bulky, it's beefy, it looks like Megatron. It has the giant arm cannon. You can even take this button here, slide it down, and he will move his head and he will declare his name victoriously, because as we all know, all of us who have seen the movies, this is the only Megatron who actually does anything in one of his movies. I mean, if you don't count that final scene where Megatron comes in and actually makes a difference in the final battle in Dark of the Moon, this Megatron is the only one who actually did anything in his movie. And frankly, I think not the twins or the crude jokes, but this was the biggest disappointment that I had with the movies, because Megatron is a fantastic villain. I always love Megatron. He was just as diabolical as he needed to be in the old cartoon, because it was a very different time and kids were very different. And he was very diabolical in shows like Animated. He was just as diabolical as he needed to be there. And yet, when you get to the movies and he's basically just a thug, and that always bothered me. But this is the Megatron that killed Optimus Prime. And didn't just kill him, but savaged him. And it was fantastic. And yes, again, the Voyager class toy is a little bit more accurate to the screen model in this mode as well, because it doesn't have the dinky arm, which does bother me. But this guy, he's big, he's beefy, he's taller than Leader Class Optimus from Revenge of the Fallen, which I would show you, but I have no idea where that is at the moment. No clue. Packed up some of my stuff to move my furniture around and can't find him. Really hoping I didn't lose him. But yeah. No, but he's really big, and I will show you how big he is. Again, using some previews. Here is a couple of Voyager class toys. You can hear my phone going off in the background because, as usual, I neglected to silence it. And you can see they come up a bit above his waist. Those are Voyager class toys, and they come up a bit above his waist. He's just a tall figure. I'm going to show you that again with an actual leader class toy for size comparison. Here he is with animated leader class Megatron. And I'm actually going to lower my camera so you can see those guys level. And you can see he just towers over animated Megatron. Just towers over it. And I know I'm doing my size comparisons earlier on in the video than I usually do, but that is because this thing, the size of this thing is really what impresses me, and I want to hammer that home because I think it should really impress you too. Moving on to articulation, it's about what you would expect from a figure this size, except there isn't a whole lot in the head because of this gimmick. Because this gimmick allows the head to move, it has to be relatively limited, and you can actually see as I move the head, his chest actually moves a little bit with it too, which is cool. But his shoulders are pretty good. This joint is very tight on mine, even though it's not a ratchet. I'm not sure why it's so tight. But he does have a full range of motion here. He has the same range of motion on the other arm. I'm not going to show you because I don't want the sound effect going off again, but he has the same range of motion there, all except for the elbow, which is not present due to the design of the arm. His hips move in and out. And there goes the sound effect anyway, because, you know, it's my video, and things have to go wrong. He can rotate at the thigh. He can bend pretty far at the knee. He looks like he wouldn't have as much articulation, and yet he does. Because even if this isn't as accurate a figure as Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Optimus Prime, it is a much better engineered figure, because at this point Hashtag had really gotten to the point where they were better at engineering these movie figures and making them look good and function well. We have some more gimmicks other than the lights and sound. I'm going to show them off to you now. He does have the standard firing missile. He also has this attachment here, which can lower down and actually clip into place, giving his arm more of that crab claw look that it had in the movie. And because, of course, all Megatrons nowadays have to have swords, he does have this little bit here, which becomes a big pokey sword, and it's very cool. And the only issue I have with that is actually the same issue I have with this mode in general. It's really big. And they didn't have to make it that big. They could have allocated some of the plastic here to the dinky arm over here and made him a little more proportionate, made him a little more accurate to his screen counterpart, and I think it really would have benefited the figure overall as a whole very well. And I just fired the missile, but that's okay. So guys, what do I think of this Megatron? I mentioned in my last video that my mission this week is really to go through all of my Megatron figures and try to figure out which of them best represents Megatron in this modern age. Is it this guy? No, it's not. He's not the best Megatron toy I've seen yet. He's pretty high up the list, though. And most of that is just his size, how much I love his size. Most of that is just how much I love how much he improved over the previous figure. But that's not really enough to declare a figure the best. So we're going to keep looking, and we are going to continue with Megatron Week. Tomorrow, we are going to do one of my personal favorites. We are going to take a look at Beast Megatron. Guys, it's Beast Megatron, and it's the only version of Beast Megatron I have, and I'm not going to spoil the surprise because it is quite a surprise. And guys, in terms of a recommendation, I think if you find this guy, if you like the movies, pick him up. He's pretty good, but only if you can get him for what you consider to be a reasonable price. Don't go above what you would normally pay for an old figure just to get this guy. He's not quite that great, but if you can find him at a reasonable price, I'd say pick him up still. He holds up really well, and he is certainly better than I think anything we got with the third movie in terms of Megatron. That is definitely for sure. So if you want a movie Megatron that is leader class scale, this is really, I think, the definitive movie Megatron at leader class scale. And that alone, I think, makes him worth adding to your movie collection. This has been Awesome John 22, and I will see you guys later.